Most people have very strong principled stances, don't survive for long, actually. We want them to survive for long, but they don't survive for long. And do much at the same at the same time. There are many times in WikiLeaks evolution where I've had to be ruthlessly pragmatic. So it is to understand the medium term or the long term goal in principle, but in fact not corrupt your principles in the short term, but be quite willing to balance one for another in order to actually survive the moment.
Ukraine. Egypt. You got it?
Yeah.
Zimbabwe. Iraq. All they can see is that we've put it on the web, which looks irresponsible.
Have you got the US ambassador yet? Well, please do that. Are you recording?
Yeah. Oh, hello. Can I please speak to Hillary Clinton? I'm calling from the office of Julian Assange. It's very important. Yep, so Julian Assange is the founder of WikiLeaks. Okay, and all of the US Department of State cables, we have intelligence that they are about to be put on the web, unredacted, not by us. And I would like to speak to her about this.
She might be busy in some meetings. Find out who is her second in command.
Yes? You need to call me back. This is an emergency. You're the emergency line and it will take a while. Okay. Would you want to do that right now and I'll wait? He would like to speak to her about that, yes. Okay, well, let me start by giving you my phone number. 1 minute, please. More details other than the entire unredacted cable set is about to go on the internet. I mean, literally, it's about to happen. I don't understand why you are not seeing the urgency in this.
Just put him on. Who is he?
Okay.
Who is he? Hello? G'day, Chad. This is Julian Assange. To try and to make it clear, we don't have a problem, you have a problem. And we are trying to help you solve your problem because we are indirectly connected to your problem. I would like to speak to the most senior person available who can execute an action quickly to send someone to location here in Norfolk. Okay. Okay, thank you. Bye-bye. Hello. Are you off?
Hi. Dinner's on the side, sir.
What's for dinner, Sue?
Lamb chops, roast potatoes, vegetables, creme brulee, and raspberries. Thank you. Plain bread.
Great.
See you, sir. Be good.
I need a phone.
Production Journal. I had a strange dream about Julian. I was moving between two spaces, one doing an insider expose, the other at a hidden location. I didn't tell Julian what I was working on in the dream. The anxiety must be a fear of betrayal and my worry about how Julian will react. With this film, the lines have become very blurred. Sometimes I can't believe what Julian allows me to film. Ego, yes, but also brave. He is managing his image, but also being vulnerable. It's a mystery to me why he trusts me, because I don't think he likes me.
Jordan. Hello?
Hello, is this Miss Harrison?
Speaking.
Hi, Miss Harrison. This is the State Department Operations Center. We spoke yesterday. If Mr. Assange is available, I have one of the Secretary's lawyers on the line who has been asked to return the call on the Department of State's behalf.
G'day, Cliff. Thank you for calling back. Have you been briefed?
I believe so. We had understood that that you and perhaps Sarah had been trying to reach out both to the department and that there had been some calls.
Yeah, so the situation is we have intelligence that the department database archive is being spread around, and our view is that it's more your problem than it is ours. But what we want the State Department to do is to step up its warning procedures, which it was engaged in earlier in the year and late last year, to State Department sources that are mentioned in the cables.
Surely you can understand that when you're talking about this volume of material, that even with the best efforts of the United States government, that we are able to protect all or even a significant amount of sourced equities in them. There's also national security material throughout the classified cables that also causes us harm. I mean, as you know, Mr. Assange, we had, in our public statements, tried to dissuade WikiLeaks from doing its releases on the same ground, and I don't know why we would fare any better with...
Well,
with you.
Well, I understand you need to make that statement for legal reasons, and you understand that I need to make the following statement also, that we make sure that there is no harm to the interests of the United States, and rather the news benefit is paramount in everything that we do. I have to say, from our perspective, a lot of this happened as a result of the overbearing pressure by the United States. This is an example of when you push people into a corner, they stop behaving in a step-by-step methodical manner because of the threats that they are under.
Yeah, exactly. But if there's no outfit, that is
I was stopped at the border again. My detentions have become more aggressive since I began filming WikiLeaks. The U.S. agent at Heathrow wouldn't tell me his name or who he worked for. At JFK, they collected all my electronics and asked if I had any hidden USB drives. When I got home, my apartment door was open. Did I forget to close it? Or are they sending me a message?
Can we start? You need to be able to talk about exciting projects without giving anything away. Those of you who can, because some of you will want to be sort of covert.
cover stories for various people.
That's what he means.
Well, that's what I'm talking
So
about.
Joe and Sarah are already very publicly visible. They're Joe and Sarah.
I want
my
each
story.
person to give their story and you can correct it because then we hear it from them. And then if other people ask us who they are, we've heard it in their voice. Who are you?
I'm a Swedish journalist, and I'm a good friend.
Okay. Renata, what's your name? Are you Renata?
I'm Renata, and from Guatemala. I'm a lawyer, and I have been researching the last years about freedom of information, human rights issues in general, and many of the issues I work with converge with the issues the organization.
But are you a lawyer for Julian? Are you a lawyer for WikiLeaks? Are you what?
What should I say? I don't know.
I think you should say that you are a lawyer for WikiLeaks.
Okay.
Elisa?
My name is Elisa. I'm living.
I would like to introduce Jacob Applebaum, the speaker of WikiLeaks. He's an independent security specialist.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. I guess I'd like to start off by saying that the best indicator for telling the future is to look at the present and to understand how the past informs on the present. So, for example, a major security threat is internet filtering and censorship. And several people on this panel represent companies that during the revolution, they censored the internet quite heavily, most respectfully TE Data, blocking Twitter. I was actually accessing computer networks from the United States that were located here in Egypt. And now you look at the pamphlets around here, you see that the companies at ICT, and I mean this with all due respect, are saying that they powered the revolution. What they actually powered was the regime. And now that the regime has fallen, they want to exploit the revolution for corporate profits.
Jacob, can you define censorship in your terminology?
Absolutely. So censorship in this case is restricting access to a particular website. I had a list of all of the servers that Twitter runs, and all but 2 of them were blocked by TE Data. And this meant that Twitter was not able to be used. Yeah. But specifically, I have data.
It's extremely dangerous to talk with inaccurate information in such matters.
Well, I have accurate data. So, I mean, we could also talk about the propaganda SMS sent by the mobile phone providers. We can get to that later. I have data, independent data from Egyptians, and that I gathered myself. So, while it might be dangerous to have this conversation, I'm happy to talk about it because it's truthful. For example, did someone hold a gun to the heads of your engineers and said, block these sites? Because NOR did not do this blocking. The NOR ISP did not do this. So why did TE Data collaborate with the Mubarak regime and block these sites and try to stop the revolution?
Okay. Jacob,
you want to build a future? Will you agree to stand against all censorship? Will you abide by the Egyptian constitution? Wait, please. I ask you right now, since you're here, every person, Vodafone, Nokia, who collaborates with the Iranian dictators and apparently Mubarak for a year. So I'd like to know, will you all agree to stand against censorship on the internet and to abide by the Egyptian constitution? Will you do it? Is that a yes?
Just a minute please. كنت أحب أسمع من TE Data اللي هي نفسها TE اللي بيملكها الشعب المصري إنها ستحترم حقوق المواطن المصري مش هتحترم القانون.
Will you agree to stand against censorship?
We'll come back, Jacob, we'll come back to the panel.
He's got the microphone. I'd just like to ask.
We'll come back to the panel.
It's okay. He can say yes because he believes in the right of the Egyptian people.
We'll come back to the panel. We have a question there.
Okay.
these remarkable trove of documents that have been released in the last year. The Iraq war logs, the Afghanistan war logs, and the US State Department documents. Why does it matter so much?
It has been my long-term belief that what advances us as a civilization is the entirety of our understanding, what human institutions are actually like. And at the moment, we are severely lacking in the information from big secretive organizations that have such a role in shaping how we all live. Institutions, the most powerful institutions, from the CIA to News Corporation, are all organized using technical young people. What does that mean when all those technical young people adopt a certain value system and that they are in an institution where they do not agree with the value system, and yet actually their hands are on the machinery?
Light them all up.
Come on, fire.
Hey, Roger. Keep shooting. Nice. Good shoot.
Thank you. He's getting up.
If he has a weapon though in his hand?
No, I haven't seen one yet.
Solitary confinement and is stripped naked each night before bed.
Ultimately, the treatment of Private Manning, who has yet to be brought to trial, is prompting some questions that are now making it up to the president.
With respect to Private Manning, I have actually asked the Pentagon whether or not the procedures that have been taken in terms of his confinement are appropriate and are meeting our basic standards. They assure me that they are.
Hi, how are you? Did you see the news? I'm just actually in the car with Dan Ellsberg and Laura. I'll put you on.
Julian, hi. It's outrageous that this court-martial is continuing, given the president's proclamation that he's guilty already. It's impossible to get a fair military trial. Here we go.
Did you get all that? Oh my God, we're driving past the Pentagon. Just in brief, they said that they found an Al-Qaeda operative in Afghanistan's computer that had the WikiLeaks Afghan documents downloaded onto it. They showed a video of Al-Qaeda's media service showing an Al-Qaeda leader talking about jihad and how they ought to use WikiLeaks in their efforts towards jihad. And the argument they're making is that Manning has, by providing information to WikiLeaks, has materially aided the enemy because by posting it on the internet, WikiLeaks is providing information to the enemy, to terrorist organizations. It was unbelievable. It was just, we were sitting there thinking, are they serious? And it even says the free internet is a tool for jihad.
Authorities said concerns about his safety and the fact he might commit suicide. Now there's been condemnation from around the world, an investigation by the UN's torture investigator into those conditions, but the military, the US government is continuing to press this case. The most serious charge is one of aiding the enemy. Now prosecutors in this case have said they won't seek the death penalty, so if found guilty he would face life in prison.
There he is.
When I was 20 in my first court case, my two co-defendants both ratted me out to the police under pressure. They both became Crown witnesses. And I refused under principle. But it's not that I didn't think about it. I don't believe in martyrs, I don't think. Some very rare exceptions that people should be martyrs, but I think people should certainly take risks, to understand carefully what the risks are, what the opportunities of the situation are, and make sure these are in balance. Sometimes the risk can be very high, but the opportunity can also be extremely high. And by opportunity, I mean for things that you care about. We need to keep things in perspective. I mean, there's the risk of inaction is extremely high. And every day you live your life, you lose another day of life. And what's the risk of just sitting there? I mean, you just lost a day. You just died a day. You don't have that many, so... If you're not fighting for the things that you care about and every day is disappearing, then I mean, you are losing.
That's your machine. It's up here, it's up here. Pick it up so it doesn't go somewhere else. Shit. And then you just pick it up and press the button.
Yes, you called on this box. Julian Assange? No, I was in the house.
It's about you getting your mind into not using language that sounds hostile to women or to suggest that in general women are absolutely entitled to bring cases against men who rape. Your position is, I'm not one of them, you know? So you have to sort of find the language that, you know, that helps you to explain that. Other than sounding as if you're somebody who thinks that, you know, that this is all a mad feminist conspiracy. I don't think that's helpful to you.
No, to say it publicly is not helpful.
I know, but I'd like to persuade you that it isn't true as well.
Privately,
it feels like it.
Privately, it's a Social Democratic Party plus general influence from the government. It's just a thoroughly tawdry, radical, feminist, political positioning thing. It's some stereotype.
And you stumbled into this nest of
yes. She started the lesbian nightclub in Gothenburg.
I mean, you know, but what people would say is, what's her setting up a lesbian nightclub got to do with the price of fish? You know.
No, she's in that circle. It's that circle of...
She you know, the fact that somebody is a feminist, and even a radical feminist, doesn't mean...
Yeah, Krenz, the policewoman, I have been running as a tag team.
Which means, you see,
they go
to
Krenz.
Using that kind of language of saying they were running as a tag team and so on. Because, you know, it's making...
No, in public, I just say...
Yeah, but I mean,
An actual court case, I mean, it's going to be very, very hard for these women. they would be reviled forever by a large segment of the global population. And so I don't think it's in their interest to proceed that way. If I was them, I would go, they need to save face, so they would do something like, we do a deal where I would apologise for anything that I did or didn't do that hurt their feelings. Yeah. And they would say, enough is enough. We absolutely didn't want to, we didn't intend to file a complaint. That's publicly agreed. This is too severe. Part of the problem in this case is that there's two women, and the public just can't even keep them separate. So if there was one, you could go, she's a bad woman. Okay, I think that would have happened by now. This person is a bad character, bad faith. And here's evidence that points for it. Because there's two, it's much harder. So I try and look as much like the judges as possible. It works. Here we are.
Julian. Come on, give us a bit. You've got a crowd behind you.
Thank you.
Win this. There, gentlemen. Come on, spring a little bit. How do you feel?
A man who's been involved in exposing the crimes of the US empire is under threat of potentially being extradited to the United States. It seems very likely to be a malicious prosecution against him, and that's why I'm here to show my solidarity.
But what if it happens that he did assault a woman? Would you change your views of him?
If he assaulted the woman, then that's a different case, and it's important that he answers to that and has to answer to her. But at the moment, I don't know, and whatever he did there, I still support what he's doing with WikiLeaks.
How confident are you in the win?
Production journal. This is not the film I thought I was making. I thought I could ignore the contradictions. I thought they were not part of the story. I was so wrong. They are becoming the story.
So quick save. You're in a region that is extremely valuable to wiretap, and you are almost certainly being monitored. In Tunisia, we know that this is happening.
Yes.
So that's true for all of us right now, no question. And if you look, you can see that this is the case because some websites are blocked. So in Syria, they use devices called Blue Code. They record everything that goes in and out of Syria. So every time you send an email, they record the entire thing. Think about it in terms of safe sex, right? And this is the same thing. People are practicing unsafe computing. Sometimes, in some places, the result of that is death. So you have to make those choices and know that there are options, just like condoms, well, they could break. Yeah. And you're in a world of hurt. That's maybe not the greatest and most culturally appropriate analogy.
I thought it's fun.
Well, I'm glad one of you did. That's awkward. Good times.
Technology can always be used in two ways. Isn't the internet just an infrastructure, one that can be used to spread the idea of freedom, but also to control people?
Yeah, of course. The infrastructure as we build it today...
In a way that has never been possible before.
Well, I don't know. I mean, it depends. I think the scary thing is the control thing. There's control that is afforded now that is unlike anything else that has ever happened. At the same time, the avenues for communication are everything we had before plus this. Maybe that allows for us to build new alternatives that previously were not possible without the internet. I think that that is the case. That's what we think that we're doing with Tor.
And don't you give bad guys a hideout?
No. I mean, not any more than, for example, roads help terrorists to travel, or trains or something like this, or airplanes. I mean, what we do is we ensure that every person, not one person excluded, has the right to read and the right to speak freely, with no exceptions.
It's like what happened in Egypt. They did use all these completely insecure communications mechanisms, but they did it quickly. So they were able to communicate quickly because they use insecure communications mechanisms. And so a political situation was whipped up and evolved much faster than their opponents could see it, understand it, and act on it.
So I think that the general principle you have there is true, but I don't think that it actually is the case that in the long run, all of those insecure technologies will actually benefit them. In Tunisia, we were told that people in Syria were killed.
How many people are you willing to sacrifice in order to get a political gain? Or if you're one of those people, how much of your own life are you willing to risk in order to get that political gain?
Well, part of
actually, you might be willing to risk rather a lot. And if you slow everyone down such that you're not going to get the political gain at all, yes, you might protect people, but on the other hand, are you protecting people by permitting a situation to continue where you have 20,000 political prisoners? It's not protecting people either.
It's just that I'm not clear if they understand what will happen. I think most people don't understand data retention.
I don't think it works like that, actually. I think you have a short-term crisis when you decide that the ability to activate quickly and en masse is more important than preventing the internet from forming a long-term profile on them. People just don't understand the threat model.
And there's two different threat models here. There's one where they know who you are, and they're going to spend a certain amount of resources on targeting you and following you physically. And the other is they don't yet know who you are. So as long as you keep your anonymity, you don't end up in this first category. And once you're in this first category, it's very hard. I'm in this first category. You're in this first category.
Do you want to do that?
Let's try
That's mine.
Like that little rat tail there.
If you look at the Occupy London photo.
And make sure the sound's up.
Yes.
Significantly short.
No, I don't want to cut it too short in the back.
Sensational is the dress.
Dang, like I've been doing it and I feel like it grows out. So I'll take it out. Okay. Don't worry.
Sensational is the dress.
Julian, you just need to wash it.
Cut it extra.
Sensational is the dress.
Three guys arrived and they approached him and they say FBI.
They asked about my name.
Yeah, about your name and his involvement with you. And they said you were involved with WikiLeaks, right? And we have been following you. They admitted that they have been following you, and we are contacting you because we want to ask you some questions.
Like what?
And well, very, very general stuff, like we want to know your relationship with Julian Assange, general stuff like that. That's a bird.
It's 2 guys.
Shall I continue? Or?
Go with it.
Huh?
Just have a look there, Laura, to see. This question about communication with Manning, for example, I mean, that's clearly the most important question I've heard so far. But
I said, did they mention Jacob? And he said, no, they didn't mention Jacob. They just mentioned Julian. Because they mentioned you again, WikiLeaks and Julian Assange, because of the Manning case. When the 3 spooks.
Yeah.
When they were trying to make him answer the questions because the metro was closed, that what they could do is that give him a ride on the car to the house that he was staying at, because he said to them that he was staying alone in the house.
Such a fucking idiot. Get into a car with 3 FBI guys, yeah. All right.
Yeah. And I said, what you have to do now is to call this and this and this and this person. That's his that's his security stuff.
I bumped into 4 people I knew in Sweden. They all say the same thing. That WikiLeaks has lost ground because of you. Doesn't matter when you go, yes, but you know, WikiLeaks is him. It's all his ideas and all that. That almost puts them off even more. You're toxic there. They all say, apologise. I'm not telling you this is what I'm saying. I'm just passing on. I'm just passing on.
Nearly 500 days of detention without charge.
Yeah. The only person who put it differently was Thomas, also, who said, you need to address the issue. He said what you do is you need to address the girls. Say, I'm sorry you felt that way. I wasn't disregarding you. That sort of thing.
Yeah, sure, just fly her over. I'm sure she'll be happy to have a private meeting.
Who, SW?
Yeah.
He being sarcastic?
No.
If you can demonstrate that due process hasn't been followed, that will really upset the Swedes, because they're a stickler for process.
Well, no, they're not.
No, I know they're
not. They're
not.
a stickler for process.
Because
they're a stickler for pretending that there's process.
But you've got to...
We have been demonstrating again and again and again.
Yes, I know. That's why I said I disagree. And I said, well, you know, why...
That's why they hate me.
Anyway, then they...
Yeah, I'm sure they much prefer to fuck me and have no whimpering sound.
This is my debrief. So can you keep quiet?
Go on.
Because every time I say, well... But like he should just come back and say and you know get
into that prison cell.
Yeah.
Hi, I'll put him on.
Hello? Yeah, of course. Well, you need to say that these are weasel words. Now, fuck that. You don't need to worry about that. The US is has an active grand jury with FBI agents detaining people at airports. Don't know that they're not. That's a lie. Oh, it's a grand jury. It's secret. All you have to do is quote. No. All you have to do is quote what was in the Sydney Morning Herald from the Australian government's own material, which is it cannot be confirmed on the record. But, i.e., it can be confirmed off the record. Witnesses who have been dragged in have released the subpoenas, have been on the steps of the grand jury.
Julian runs the organization like an intelligence agency, using code names, denial and deception, compartmentalization. He's teaching me things about secrecy I didn't realize I needed to learn. I don't know what he's planning. I'm only able to see one step ahead.
Hi. How's it going? But don't tell that journalist. And yeah, any journalist. Yeah, we'll tell him to bugger off.
Those who support Julian Assange believe that his extradition is only the beginning of a very long process that could land the whistleblower in a U.S. prison.
In the last few moments, the UK's Supreme Court has dismissed the appeal of Julian Assange, effectively paving the way for him to be extradited to Sweden within the next 10 days. He has not been charged with any crime. At this stage, he is only wanted in Sweden for questioning in relation to some sexual allegations of which Mr. Assange denies. Assange was not in court for that judgment to be handed down. We understand he wanted to be, but was caught in traffic.
He was not in court, although he may well be watching it here on television.
Well, we're told that he is inside this embassy here. We're not getting a lot of information on the ground. His supporters even were caught by surprise by this move.
Yes, we considered many countries. However, on our analysis, Ecuador was the most likely to agree to the asylum. A lot of support in Iceland, and Iceland was moving in that direction, but unfortunately they were simply not far enough. Well, we say that my activities are protected by the First Amendment, but it's all a matter of politics. Laws are interpreted by judges. In any event, we require that the United States guarantee that it does not apply the death penalty in my extradition. However, there still could be life imprisonment or 30 years of imprisonment, and the conditions might be very severe.
Well, there's still an awful lot of people here, not just supporters of Assange, but also passers-by wondering what on earth is going on. Of course, as I'm sure you can imagine, there's a lot of media here too. The UK previously sent a letter which has been interpreted by Ecuador as a threat to storm the embassy and get Assange out by any means necessary. That didn't go down very well with the Ecuadorians at all. They said that it was an act that was not fitting of a civilized nation.
Nos dicen en nuestra embajada en Londres que en este momento la embajada está totalmente rodeada por policías en números que no se compadecen con la situación. Que por favor les expliquen. ¿Me entendiste? Sí.
And even in a state of war, even if the UK was at war with Ecuador, they do not have the right to go into the mission. Yeah.
The news that Julian Assange has been granted asylum by the Ecuadorian government is slowly spreading through a large, substantial crowd here outside the Ecuadorian embassy, but the British government is insisting it changes nothing.
Gracias por el apoyo y estar aquí. Nuestro gobierno está absolutamente convencido de las razones que amparan a Julian para pedir este asilo y por qué lo estamos dando. Así que...
How pathetic is that?
A press conference with all of the London media who hate us and doing it live to the world.
It'll be fine.
Can I read it to you?
Yeah.
I'm so scared. Okay.
It'll be fine.
Thanks for coming. I'm going to talk a bit about today's release, then walk you through our interface, then I'll take a few questions at the end. Just now, at 11 a.m. BST, WikiLeaks began publishing the Syria files. Over the next 2 months, groundbreaking stories...
But you're doing really well otherwise.
Over the next 2 months...
Don't just read it in your head. So buffer up. Go get the first 4 words into my head. Then look up and speak them.
Okay. So here we go. WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange cannot be with us today, but has given this comment on the Syria files. The material is embarrassing to Syria, but it is also embarrassing to Syria's opponents. It helps us not merely to criticise one group or another, but to understand their interests, actions and thoughts.
We won't just be pissing off Assad, we'll be pissing off his enemies as well. I think it's an equal opportunity link.
Okay, give me a couple of questions. The one that I'm most nervous about is the typical one, the girlfriend one, and I just give a funny look and Joseph says, that's not on this topic.
Just imagine there a piece of shit on your shoe, a piece of dog shit. But don't look at all scared, just look. What? Oh,
ridiculous question right now.
No, just, oh, please. Do the feminine thing. Okay. You've assaulted my femininity. How dare you?
Thanks for coming. Just now, at 11 a.m. BST, WikiLeaks began publishing the Syria files. More than 2 million emails from Syrian political figures, ministries, and associated companies. This extraordinary data set derives from 680 Syrian-related entities or domain names, including those of the Ministries of Presidential Affairs, Foreign Affairs, Finance, Information, Transport and Culture.
We'll take a very limited amount of questions, but I know Julian is very newsworthy at the moment. Can we just keep the questions to do with the release?
Does this mean WikiLeaks is back on top and able to continue publishing new data after quite a hiatus of not doing so?
Yeah. Can you give us any headlines from this, anything that we can take away from this before going through the interface, and just the latest on Mr. Assange and what he's feeling there in the Ecuador embassy right now? Mr. Assange?
As my colleague said,
Can we just
this
keep the
isn't about
questions
Mr.
to
Assange. And this is another, we did the GI files earlier this year, and then this is the second large release of this year that we are continuing. I don't know if there's a rebranding.
We're up to like 150 tweets a minute.
Production journal. I had a nightmare that hung with me for days. Julian was being detained at a U.S. military base. I've been off the radar since I started editing. I should check in with Sarah so they don't freak out.
See, my profile didn't really take off until the sex case. No, it was very, very high in media circles and intelligence circles and so on. But it didn't really, really take off as that I was a globally recognized household name. It wasn't until the sex case. So I was joking to one of our people. Sex scandal every 6 months.
I think that was me you were joking to, and I died a little bit inside.
It's the way to...
That's going to keep my profile up, isn't it, Sarah? Big grin. I was like, please, please, please don't. I will kill you on every level available.
Come on. It's a platform.
You have a platform.
Oh, they didn't move.
This is incredible. Those are the guys I can encourage to let you go. So, please don't share this with anybody, not a single soul, but, let's talk about it and figure it out. But this is clearly a man in the middle, right? We tried to connect to Tor Project's web server. It says that it's 5 hops upstream, and then it closes the connection. I'm going to give you a whole bunch of stuff. What you need
very quickly, I have an idea. So if you prepare me...
What the fuck is that? You don't even have a bathrobe that fits you? Do we need to go shopping for you?
No.
Does it say boss on it?
Yeah. If you prepare me a bootable USB or external drive with an onion server that goes to a shell, to get on this network, and you can do the tests.
Give me your computer and I want to do that. Okay.
We should build that whole up.
No, we should build
Please get in the shower. You have 10 minutes, please.
It's like you're in college. Where do you sleep?
Other side of the bookshelf.
What?
Yep.
This is your room?
Not mine. His. I get to go home at night.
I want you to look like you just took your shirt off and you're at home, You should just be in that, like something like that. Like a dirty fucking t-shirt, like a rebel.
With
not
a stain on
suit.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your favorite kind of food?
Well, I went to Malaysia. Well, first of all, let's not pretend for a moment that I'm a normal person. I am obsessed with our political struggle. I'm not a normal person.
Right. I just would really like for you to tell me how you feel, because I've been trying to get that out of you.
Why does it matter how I feel? Well, I mean, who gives a damn? I don't care how I feel.
Do you ever feel like just fucking crying?
No.
Never?
Never.
Even when you're happy? So you love your mom?
Yeah.
How about your dad?
My dad is much more abstract, so...
No, nothing like you then. I'm just kidding. Who is after you, Mr. Assange?
Formally, there are more than 12 United States intelligence organizations, investigative organizations that are...
What are they?
After. So, I mean, those include, most importantly, the FBI, the Department of Justice, the Central Intelligence Agency, the Department of Defense, and the subsets of the Department of Defense, CENTCOM, sections of the US Army, including the CCIU, the US Army's Computer Crimes Investigative Unit. Those include, in Australia, various investigations.
A series of institutions.
So there are, and of course the State Department, the Diplomatic Security Service here within the United Kingdom, the Home Office, the Extradition Squad, the Serious Crime, Serious Organised
So basically a whole bunch of fucking people in America. Now what about in the rest of the world?
So in the rest of the world, the Australian government started up what he called a whole of government investigation that included the Internal Intelligence Agency, ASIO, the External Intelligence Agency, ASIS, the Attorney General, the Department of Premier and Cabinet, the Department of Defense, the Australian Federal Police, the Swedish Prosecution Authorities.
Swedish prosecution.
That includes the Foreign Ministry run by Carl Bildt, some aspects of the Swedish. It's become a national issue now.
So a lot of people.
Well, there's more. I mean, there's the Scientologists.
There's a lot of friends. There's a lot of friends of friends. A lot of friends of friends doing things to put you in this position that you are now in. Correct?
Sure.
Good. Quick. That's good. Go.
I've been contacted by an anonymous source. He claims to have documents about illegal NSA spying. I wonder if the FBI is trying to entrap me, Jake, or Julian. Julian would be the likely target. I haven't told him about the source.
I need you to move the camera and stuff, film it. Give me that bag.
29-year-old Edward Snowden blew open those secrets
Julian contacted me after I published the video. He said Snowden isn't safe in Hong Kong. I told him I can't assist with Ed's asylum. The risks are too high. When they investigate this leak, they will create a narrative to say it was all a conspiracy. They won't understand what really happened, that we all kept each other in the dark.
Breaking news this hour. WikiLeaks claims one of its legal advisors accompanying Snowden after the whistleblowing organization secured a safe exit. Reportedly has Snowden aboard, scheduled to land in the Russian capital within minutes.
As you may have heard, there is a CIA agent who has revealed a lot of information, and he is now trapped in the airport in Moscow. We managed to get him out of Hong Kong, but when he landed in the Moscow airport, the American government had cancelled his passport to try and grab him. We are trying to arrange a private jet to take him from Moscow to Ecuador, or perhaps maybe Venezuela, or maybe Iceland, countries where he would be safe. But there isn't much time. This is the problem. We need to raise the money for the jet. Well, the quotes coming back are somewhere between $120,000 and $300,000 for the private flight, and one of our people is accompanying him.
Today, we've had information from the official Russian news service Interfax that at the Moscow airport, Edward Snowden applied for asylum there with the help of Sarah Harrison. You see her there on the right.
The British national says that her lawyers have advised her not to return to the UK because she risks arrest under the Terrorism Act.
Not guilty on aiding the enemy, but specification 1, charge 2 on wanton publication, guilty. Afghan war diary on espionage, guilty. Spec 8 on the Gitmo files, guilty, which is 10 years max. Cablegate, guilty, 10 years. Reykjavik cable, 2 years max, guilty. God. It goes on. 10, 20, 30, 90, 100. 102, 112. Yeah, so far, 142 years, maximum possible sentence.
I spoke to Julian for the first time in months. He is furious and feels betrayed. He wants me to give him NSA documents and accuse me of dividing the community by not publishing with WikiLeaks. I tell him I can't be his source. I don't tell him that I don't trust him. He's still yelling when I hang up the phone.
Testing? Okay. Okay, so there's a filmmaker named Laura Poitras. Laura Poitras is known through the defense community as a documentary filmmaker who's anti-US. So she's known in the wiki community, the anti-US, anti-government monitoring community. When we were pursuing Snowden, we went balls to the wall to try to get this guy. We were able to revoke his visa the day before he boarded the plane for Moscow. So they get the guy on the plane, he ends up in Moscow. And then, therefore, then at that point, we realized, we lost him, we're probably not going to get it back.
go on. It looks almost certain now that it's going to be Hillary versus Trump. Yes. Basically, it will be Hillary versus Trump unless one of them has a stroke or is assassinated.
Yeah.
So that's quite a bad outcome in both directions. We have a definite warmonger in the case of Hillary, who's gunning for us. Yeah. And in the case of Trump, we have someone who's extremely unpredictable.
Yes.
I've discovered quite a lot of interesting stuff in relation to Hillary.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately for Trump, there's not so many known interesting documents. And you would think with these business ventures all over, there must be a whole bunch of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
After something like this happens in your community, it kind of tears it apart. You know, Tora is just kind of the epicenter of this particular instance, but I think there is kind of a degree of sickness within the community that allows these things to happen. And so I think we're still uncovering and trying to make sense of what actually happened. Like, how did it persist? What were the mechanisms by which it was covered up or hidden or enabled?
I have some comments, but I would like to actually not be on camera. I'm a programmer, and all I would like to do is to be able to contribute to radical projects. But I knew that I wouldn't work with Tor ever because of Jacob Applebaum. And I was never directly affected by him, but I just knew so many stories.
Jake often asks me, what decision would I make in the prisoner's dilemma? Would I stay silent or betray him? Jake sent me a text after the website went live. We had been involved briefly in 2014. After I ended things, he was abusive to someone close to me. Jake was now worried about what I would say. I asked to interview him for the film. He said no. He wants the film to have a different ending. So do I.
WikiLeaks published a trove of hacked, stolen DNC emails and voice messages, indicating efforts by party officials to hinder Bernie Sanders' campaign and assist Hillary Clinton's campaign. U.S. government sources strongly suspect that Russian intelligence agents were behind the data breach.
The grand total of emails pushed out there by WikiLeaks is now well over 10,000. Progressives concerned that she was taking all of this money from Goldman Sachs and others.
Assange has given a series of interviews in which he says that there's no proof whatsoever that the emails that he's already released came from Russian sources. Of course, WikiLeaks likes to create maximum ambiguity about where its information comes from. It's very hot on the protection of sources.
Does that not trouble you at all if a foreign government is trying to meddle in the affairs of another foreign government?
Well, it's an interesting speculative question that's for the press and others to perhaps...
But that doesn't bother you? That is not part of the WikiLeaks
well, it's a meta story. If you're asking, would we accept information from U.S. intelligence that we had verified to be completely accurate, and would we publish that? And would we protect our sources in U.S. intelligence? The answer is yes, of course we would.
Donald Trump will be the 45th President of the United States.
Assange is obviously back in the headlines after WikiLeaks released thousands of emails from the Democratic Party in the lead up to the presidential election. The Department of Homeland Security says the emails come from Russian hackers backed by the highest levels of the Kremlin.
The Swedish prosecuting office will make a decision as to whether to carry the investigation or possibly bring charges against Julian Assange, or perhaps drop the investigation altogether.
I have been authorized by the Department of Justice to confirm that the FBI, as part of our counterintelligence mission, is investigating the Russian government's efforts to interfere in the 2016 presidential election. And that includes investigating the nature of any links between individuals associated with the Trump campaign and the Russian government, and whether there was any coordination between the campaign and Russia's efforts.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to follow up with a few questions. Director Comey, are you aware that Roger Stone played a role in the Trump campaign?
I'm not going to talk about any particular person here today, Mr. Schiff.
I'm going to continue to ask these questions because I want to make sure you are aware of these facts, whether you're able to comment on them or not. Are you aware that Mr. Stone also claimed that he was in touch with an intermediary of Mr. Assange?
Same answer.
This question I think you can answer. Do you know whether the Russian intelligence services dealt directly with WikiLeaks or whether they too used an intermediary?
We assessed they used some kind of cutout. They didn't deal directly with WikiLeaks, in contrast to Lucifer 2.0.
There is evidence, is there not, of a break-in of the Democratic headquarters by a foreign power using cyber means.
Yes, there was.
And there was an effort by the Russians to cover up their break-in by using cutouts like WikiLeaks to publish the stolen material. Isn't that right?
Certainly to cover up that they were the ones releasing it.
Everyone who knows that I'm doing this, they want to know why, the motivation.
So if I don't try and make an excuse, but rather...
Or a soundbite or anything, but really why?
If I don't... Let me close that door. I don't feel there's even a choice in the matter. I was in a lucky position that the new thing it is that element which is really causing the world to globalize, and that element which is producing most of the changes that we see, including the bad ones, I was an expert in. If you see the global problems that we have as a global civilization, you actually see them and understand them, then acting locally is completely inconsequential relative to what you understand. So the only way to then act to make the world the way you want it, to remove those features which you do not like, is to act globally. Because the features that you are concerned about are a global phenomenon.
I understand what you're saying on a tactical level, but like really the motivation.
That is the motivation.
But isn't it also something about power?
If let's say your perception was limited to your garden, and so you spend your time going, well, I don't like to have weeds, I like to have flowers in my garden, I like my garden to be healthy. Then you spend your time doing that. If your perception has been globalized, then this perception of your garden, perhaps I have a God complex, right? But the perception of your garden, my perception of what my environment is, the area that I care about is the whole world.
Julian texted me after I showed him a cut of the film. He said, "Laura, I ask that you cease putting into press releases and interviews that we have fallen out. After the screening, we will continue to try and find a path of mutual interest. However, presently the film is a severe threat to my freedom, and I'm forced to treat it accordingly."
efforts are now well underway to prosecute the founder of the group that candidate Trump said he loved so much, WikiLeaks. The Justice Department preparing charges against Julian Assange.
The Attorney General said he is focused on prosecuting leaks, and the Justice Department is taking steps to do that.
We are going to step up our efforts on all leaks. Whenever a case can be made, we will seek to put some people in jail.